Thank you for watching. Today I want to talk about a 2.5 Gigabit PCI Express network adapter. If you're interested in learning more about getting faster network speeds on your existing wiring, then stick around to watch the rest of this video. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and click that notification icon so you'll be notified of new content. Both 10 Gigabit network components have been around for a while and they've dropped in price fairly recently. They still remain pretty expensive, especially if you have multiple PCs in the house. Add to that the potential of having to run new wiring such as Cat 6A, Cat 7, or Cat 8, and things get pretty complicated and can get real expensive. To address this, many card makers have started to release a 2.5 Gigabit network adapter. Presently, this standard is not real popular, but 2.5 gig chipsets are starting to appear on some of the newer higher-end motherboards. The main advantage is that they promise to give you 2.5 times the performance over the current 1 gigabit without changing your existing wiring. You can theoretically now get 2.5 gigabit performance on Cat 5e or Cat 6, which provides a significant increase over the current day 1 gigabit standard. Before we get into the hardware and do some testing, I did want to clarify that for any of these cards to work, you will need to upgrade to at least a low-cost 10 gigabit switch. Now, I know you're probably thinking, if I'm going to upgrade to a 10 gigabit switch, why not just go across the board and go 10 gigabit? And that's a valid point, and I have certainly done that on some of my systems. But you still have to consider not only the extra cost of the cards, but more prominently, you have to consider the cost of rewiring your house. So depending on your own existing configuration, running Cat 6A or Cat 7 cable may be not only difficult, but also extremely expensive. I'll post an extra link to a video I did on terminating Cat 7 to give you a better idea of the challenge involved and the extra work and certainly the extra cost. Despite having to upgrade to a 10 gigabit switch to make these cards work, it still might be a short-term viable solution to give you that extra 2.5 times boost without having to change your existing wiring and spend more on network cards. So with that in mind, I'd like to get into the hardware and then let's do some testing to see if this stuff lives up to its expectation. So I actually picked kind of a random card on Amazon. I did include an affiliate link down at the bottom in case you want to take a look at it. So I picked this primarily on 3 different criteria. Number one is it had to have a standard and a low profile bracket because I have systems that require both. So I wanted to make sure that I could interchange them readily. It had to be below $35. And also it had to promise, or at least tell me, that it was going to load drivers kind of by default without the requirement of adding additional drivers to make it work, because that's always that can be problematic. Now the first thing I noticed when I got this box is, when I first opened it, is that if you look at the outside of the box, it says Windows 7, 8, 10, Vista, all the way back years, Mac, Linux. But if you notice the speed, it says 10, 100, 1000. So that made me initially suspicious, saying I thought I bought a 2.5 gigabit card, not a 1 gigabit card. So I took it out of the box anyway, and also noticed that on the very back, the only place it mentions 2.5 gig is in this ink stamped bar, right underneath this ink stamped barcode. So I took the card out, and one of the things that really stands out right away, and I don't know if you can see this, I'll try and zoom in here, but it's actually etched right on the card. It says 1000, or it says 100 meg, 1 gig, and 2.5 gig. So I felt a little better once I took it out of the box that this thing was actually going to perform. But they need to work on their packaging because it's a little bit misleading if you first look at the box. Overall, before we get into testing, this card's extremely small. It looks very well built. It only has it's certainly much smaller heatsink on this card than what you typically see on a 10 gigabit card, so it obviously is going to put out quite a bit less heat. Nothing special. This thing uses a Realtek chipset as far as I know. So at this point, let's go ahead and plug this into the system. Make sure that it loads without having to load an additional driver, and then let's put it through its paces. And before I forget, I also wanted to mention, not that it's all that important, but I guess they were at least kind enough, even though despite the low cost, to throw in a little screwdriver in case you don't have one, to mount and change over the bracket. Okay, so the very first thing that we want to do is to plug the card in and see what happens when we boot the system. In the perfect world, the card will be just detected and you'll instantly be connected to the network. If it requires additional drivers, then we won't have any Ethernet connectivity whatsoever. So let's see what happens when we fire this thing up. Okay, it looks like it fired right up and we have an internet connection. Now it's time to give it a test run. Before we do that though, let's take a look at the network properties and make sure it's detected the card with the 2.5 gigabit. There you have it. It says 2.5 gigabit. So it looks like it's detected the card perfectly, fired right up and installed the appropriate drivers to make it work. Now it's a question of let's test the performance. Well, so let's give that a shot and see what happens. So in order for us to baseline this overall comparison, I'm going to start out by running the 1 gig, which is what most people are running in their house. So what you're seeing here is the 1 gig performance, which is pretty consistent, pretty strong. We'll let it run through the entire test and we'll do a comparison of the time and the basic throughput so we can get an idea of how to compare it. So we'll do this one, compare it to the 2.5, and then we'll finish up with the 10 gig so we can kind of see the 3 different steps and determine where our best value is. So our baseline test is kind of wrapping up right now, and as you can see, it's remained pretty solid at around 110, 112 through the entire process, which is very respectable and what you could expect from a solid working network. And this is over a broad variety of different file types. So let's get into the next test and see what that looks like. So here's our 2.5 gig card, which is the unit that we're actually interested in seeing. As you can see, it's actually moving along pretty well. As we'll see over the entire test, it maintains a pretty decent throughput through the entire thing. Probably not exactly 2.5 times what you would get from the gigabit performance, but it's a solid 2 times faster, probably a little over 2 times faster through the whole test. So let's watch the rest of the test and we'll see what it looks like at the end. Okay, so we're at the end of the 2.5 gig test, and as you can see, it's maintained very solid performance through the entire range, ending up at around 225 plus. And we'll again compare the times and roughly the network performance. And for our final test and comparison, here's the 10 gigabit performance. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll see that it's roughly about the same. You get consistently high throughputs, ranging anywhere from 600 all the way up to 1.1 gigabytes per second. So again, it varies depending on the content and depending on what you're copying to and how fast the devices are. You're only as fast as your weakest link. So that's about it. Let's let this one wrap up, and then we'll do a quick summary and see what the data tells us. Okay, now that we've seen all the testing, it's time to come up with some conclusions. And I guess the real question is going to 2.5 gigabit networking worthwhile? And I guess the answer would really depend on your own situation, but the real key is if you want to have the maximum performance and keep your existing wiring, then this is a really good option to go to. If you're okay with rewiring your house and you're willing to spend extra money on the cards, then obviously 10 gig would give you the maximum performance that's practically available today. I know there's faster technologies out there, but for the average home use, 10 gig is about as good as it gets right now. So all in all, I was really pleased with this card for the price. You know, it's basically plug and play, no additional drivers required. It just kind of works right out of the box. It's definitely worth considering given it's a no-name brand and it's relatively inexpensive. It's worth looking at. If you decide to go something like this, you'll need to pick up a low-cost 10 gigabit switch somewhere, and that'll at least get you future-proof so that if you do go to 10 gig later, you can, or to selective systems you can. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and click that notifications icon, and we'll see you on the next video.